Okay. We started here in the Bay Area, in Redwood City, which is about 15 miles just south of San Francisco, in between San Francisco and San Jose. Is this all your first time in the Bay Area? San Francisco?
Yeah.
We are staying from Redwood City. We are staying in Palo Alto.
Oh, okay. Great. So you drove right by it. Anyways, we have 22 offices around the country, around the U.S., right? We have in California, in Arizona, Phoenix. I can show you a map. Anyways, but so we build in what we call 5 core markets. Healthcare, so we build a lot of hospitals, and what we call medical office buildings. We do, we're one of the largest data center builders in the country. We do a lot of biotech, pharmaceutical, drugs manufacturers, and then just corporate kind of commercial office buildings like this. And then we do in our southeast, in Texas and in Florida, we do hospitality, which are high-end hotels and resorts and stuff like that. Anyways, what do just a little bit of background. What do you guys do? Engineers? Civil engineers? Electrical?
Structural engineers and architects, some of them. One of them is architect. Nobody from that here.
Yeah, good.
That's better.
But
We need architects.
we are really interested about the operation of a building. Leonardo talked us about zero building, right?
Right. So this is all right. So basically, civil engineers, structural too.
No.
Structural.
We work in the construction industry.
Right.
Constructor, customers.
Right. Okay. Commercial buildings or residential too?
Commercial.
Healthcare.
Both.
Management.
Any kind of building.
Any kind. You name it. So DPR is only commercial. We don't do any residential. Okay. In the U.S., it's kind of set up. You either do residential or you do commercial, right? So we're just commercial.
Normally, the companies have to specialize, or it's a strategy of DPR.
You mean specialize in commercial or residential? Yes. Either you specialize in residential or commercial. Now, there are commercial contractors like us who build condominiums, big high-rises, so they do that. But when I speak of residential, I'm talking more about
Smaller
homes, right? Now residential, but when you say residential commercial, there are contractors like us who build, again, condominiums or big apartment buildings. DPR doesn't do condos, right? Or we do some apartment buildings, but not much. Mainly, again, it's healthcare, hospitals, data centers, biotech, pharmaceutical manufacturing, where they manufacture drugs, and then just commercial office buildings that are offices, right? Anyways. Okay, so far?
Okay.
Yeah. This building, so I opened up the San Francisco office about over 20 years ago. So I've been with DPR since we started. I'm not the D, the P, or the R. That stands for Doug, Peter, and Ron are the 3 original guys. The P and the R are both retired. Doug is still works, still here. We are a privately owned company, okay, not public, privately owned. And like I said, I opened up the San Francisco office about 20 years ago. It was just a couple blocks from here. And then we wanted to find a building that we could do net zero. And what I mean by net zero is we produce more electricity than we consume. The building, right? And so if you look here, you can kind of see, so this whole roof is loaded with solar panels. We can't get up there. Well, we can, but it's not very easy. But So you can see the solar panels, one of them up there. So the whole roof is loaded with solar panels. So when we found this building, we did a study first to see, okay, can we put enough solar panels on the roof? And we knew what our consumption would roughly be. Would it work? And we decided it would. And it worked. So we moved in 2 years ago, this past May. So we've been here a little over 2 years, right? And so the first year, the way this works, at least in the US, is you have to prove that your production is more than your consumption in the first year. And so we did that. And so what this does, so this is, Lucid is the manufacturer of this touchscreen. So,
Of the touchscreen or the platform? The platform.
no, it's touchscreen. I'll show you.
I mean the platform itself, the software is Lucid. Lucid.
Lucid, right.
Okay.
So, so this is showing today so far, but I'm going to select a time scale. I'll go last year. So, when we were certified as net zero, it was from when we moved in, May of 2014 to May of 2015. 1 year.
Yeah.
1 year.
1 year. What this shows is calendar year. You get what I'm saying? So this is showing January of 2015 to December of 2015. Okay? So for year 2015, we produced 156,000 kilowatt hours, and we consumed 152,000.
Cool.
So we were net zero for that calendar year.
Yep.
Right? But so I think the weird thing is, once you can show that you were net zero for the first year, or May 2014 to May 2015, that's it. We don't have to recertify anymore after that. Which
Okay.
is, you kind of think about, well, anyways, but that's the way it is. So, again, so that was last year. Now, this year, so far, this year, we've produced 116,000 kilowatt hours, and we've consumed 93,000.
Whoa.
But you got to remember, look where we're at, right? We're here in the end of August, where this is the best time of year, right?
Yep.
It's that green is going to now it's going to decrease, till the end of the year.
And is any way that you can keep the capacity, or you just lost in the summer?
There's
then-
no storage.
No storage.
No storage, right? So the way it works here, so there's a couple companies, Tesla being one of them, that has come out with what they call a power wall, right, for battery storage. But it's really not there yet, right? I mean, they're selling it,
Yeah, exactly. That's
but we would need. This is a 118 kilowatt system, right? You would need a lot of power walls to get enough storage. I have solar on my house as well, and I talked to Tesla about getting a power wall in my house, right? But it's just the payback is way too long. It just didn't make sense, right?
Well.
They'll get there, and there's a couple other companies that are doing similar sort of thing, but the technology is
So far, it's not evolved enough.
right, exactly, and it's
Yeah.
too costly to really
Yeah.
make sense. I mean, I could do it just to go woohoo,
Yeah.
but too much money. So the way it works is we are hooked up in my house and in this building. We're hooked up to the grid, right? We're not off the grid. We're on the grid. And so the local provider of electricity is called Pacific Gas and Electric, PG&E. They do all California. So we take our energy that we produce, right, is sold back to the grid, to PG&E, okay? So that's when you ask about storage, there's no storage, right? So we're still on the grid. If the power went out, wherever, our power would go out too. right? There's no storage. That was when I first put solar on my house. My wife said, "Oh, cool." So when the power goes off, like it goes off in the winter sometimes because of the storm, you know, not very often, but once in a while, she goes, "Oh, okay, so that means that we'll have power?" I go, "No, that's not the way it works," right? So anyway, so we sell it back to PG&E, and what they do is they have what they call a true-up. At the end of, we moved in May 2014, so May 2015, or May 2016, they do what they call a true-up, meaning they look what was produced versus consumption, and they say, okay, you owe us X, or we owe you Y if we produce more than we consumed. You know what I'm?
Actually, nowadays they have to send you a check.
If we produce more than we consume.
Exactly.
Now that brings up a good point. At my house, I'm not producing quite enough to match what we consume, so I have to pay them back. It's not much. It was like $100 or I don't even know I don't remember what it was. Not much. Here, now we're saying we are net zero.
Exactly.
So I was asking yesterday, I want to see the bills, right, for our true up for this house, for this office, because in theory, they should be paying us,
Exactly.
right? So that's what I need to find out.
You're not sure if it's happening right now?
It should be,
Oh.
but I don't, anyways. But according to this,
Yeah.
again, what we've tracked, we are net zero.
The origin of your energy is only a solar panel.
Yeah, it's only solar,
Only solar.
right? Only solar. There's no wind, it's just solar, right?
So, for example, in this month, in January, you are producing less than what you're consuming. So in that month, you have to pay the energy from PGN.
Yeah, but what they do is they wait until the true up
Whoa.
to see what you really owe,
Yeah.
or get paid.
Within a year.
It's like a yearly payment, something like that.
It's not the calendar year, it's the year that you started the solar. So we started the solar in May 2014, so the true up was at May of 2015. And in this case, now we're a second year, May of 2016, and I don't pay the bills anymore. That's a longer story, but I want to see, because in theory, we're saying we're net zero,
Yeah.
they should be paying us.
Yeah, you should,
Right.
should
You're
get
doing the
something.
same with water?
No, water, our net zero is only for electricity.
Oh, okay.
Right? Only for electricity. Now, we don't use that much water,
It's enough.
quite honestly. So, but there's ways to recycle, right, the gray water, but we didn't do that here. There just wasn't
Trying
enough
to
work.
implement this platform in all your buildings, or you're offering your clients to implement this kind of.
Yes. So we have, right now, we have 2 other offices that are net zero in San Diego and in Phoenix, Arizona. And then we just moved into a new building in Washington, D.C., which that's going to be net zero as well. So out of our 22 offices, we'll have 4 that are net zero.
I mean, for your clients, the companies hire you to do the building.
Yes.
You-
So you've heard of LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Right? The company LinkedIn, you go in,
Yeah,
you can see,
yeah.
right? So they hired us. We're just finishing up a new building for them. Well, we didn't build the building. They moved into an existing building like this. But they saw this and go, wow, this is really
This
cool.
is the system building. It was like this when you find. the
Yes.
building.
Yeah. So we had to do a lot of work on the building, right? We
had the
poured out
roof?
all the walls.
okay.
The roof was there, but the roof needed a lot of work to support the solar panels.
Oh, of course.
Long story short, Lincoln came here. They said, "Wow, this is really cool, net zero." And we're just finishing a net zero building for Lincoln, right?
Here in San Francisco.
Outside, it's about half hour away, 45 minutes, but down on near Palo Alto.
Okay.
Anyways, so but we work all over the Bay Area. Anyways. So that's how the net zero works. Okay, for this building.
Do you
Go ahead.
have this platform working with a BMS platform? Is that
Yeah,
another
I'll show you that.
platform?
I'll show you that in a second.
Okay, but you use the same equipment to measure
to take these measures and show it here and there to monitorize the BMS.
It's only shown here in terms of, so this is the consumption of these different things are happening, right? And we can even compare offices, of what the different offices are using, right? But, so not all these are net zero though. The Phoenix office is net zero, this one, and the San Diego office is
You have
net zero.
BMS and all those.
Yes, right.
What's the make or the brand of the
I don't know, I couldn't tell you.
Because nowadays I'm trying to buy a BMS of Peru and they offer me Honeywell, Schneider.
Right.
all
So
of
we're
that.
working with Honeywell on this office. I'll show you in a second. Anyways, what else could I tell you?
Sir, excuse me, I have a question.
That's right.
We have, in our country, we have so many solar energy. In many parts, we don't have a cable for electricity. I want to know where made is the solar panel. I don't know the supplier of the panel solar. There are specific for that because I think there are many kind of brands.
Right, I don't know what manufacturer we used. I don't know that. I don't think it says on here. It doesn't.
But you have one I don't know kind of panel solar because I think there are many kinds of panel solar.
There's different manufacturers of solar panels,
Yes.
but the important thing are the inverters, right? Because the solar power comes in DC and gets converted to AC because all our systems are AC, at least in the US. I don't know what it is in Peru. Right, same thing. So, but what I've heard is the solar panels are about as efficient as they're going to be, but the inverters make the big difference. But I'm not an electrical engineer, so
I have a question. And how often your clients are asking for this? I mean, from 100%, 10%, 50%?
yeah, it's I think a small percentage right now.
And what do you think?
Well, so a lot of one is if you have this is a pretty small building, it makes it possible, right? If you had multi-story, 300,000 square feet, then you'd have to have a big solar panel, roof to put it on, or a big parking lot, big solar farm to do it. So I think that's part of the reason. So right now, you could do a partially, probably solar, but to try to do a big facility,